dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School.
Once welcome to our today's video. In our today's video, I will show you the areas of our final exam or topics included in the final exam. Before that, let me share with you this is the exam schedule, third term cycle 2 examinations schedule. So you'll be doing your second cycle exam from 6th of June to 20th of June. So in the first week you'll be doing 1, 2, 3, 4 exams: English, Arabic, physics and chemistry. Here you have given 1 day, it says reading, that means revision day. And then in the second week of this exam week, from 13th of June to 20th of June, you'll be doing math, Islamic, history, geography and biology. Again, 1 day here, Tuesday, you have given as a day for revision or reading. Okay, let us see which topics are included in the final exam. From the first chapter or from the first unit, it talks about numbers. So under this unit, we have seen a number of topics, but from those topics, which topics are included in the final exam or in your final exam. So the first topic is order of operations. Order of operations. That means we use the 4 basic operations. These are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And we have seen the body mass or body mass. You can say body mass or body mass. That means first we operate whatever any operation given in the bracket. Then if we have indices, or we call their exponents, we simplify those exponents. Then division, then multiplication, after that addition, then finally we operate the subtraction. So this is the order of operations. Then you have exercises and examples on page 5 on your textbook, page 5. So do those exercises, and again at the same time revise the questions that we did as classwork and homework from your activity book, which is related with this order of operations. The second part included again in your final exam is indices, standard form and logarithm. Again, this part you can get from your textbook on page 29, from page 29 up to page 39. So indices, that means exponents. So there are properties. Again, read this thing. Standard form, that means writing ordinary numbers using standard form or scientific notation. Again, we have seen this. Logarithm, again with properties, we have seen this, and then we did different questions, and you did classwork and then homework. So as I said, from page 29 up to 39 on your textbook, revise this part and do examples and exercises. Again, at the same time, revise questions related with this topic from your activity book. The third part is percentage. Again, we have seen how to change a given fraction into percentage. Again, percent into fraction. Plus, again, we have seen expressing one quantity as a percentage of another quantity. Again, you can find these on your textbook from page 41 up to 45, including examples and exercises. Again, revise those classwork and then homeworks that you did under this percentage from your activity book. The other part that we have seen under this unit, ratio, rate and proportion. Again, you can find these on your textbook from page 53 to 57. We did again different questions as classwork and then homework, plus we did examples under this topic, ratio, rate and proportion. So again, revise this part, read on your textbook, as I said, from page 53 up to 57, and then do the questions repeatedly, those questions that we did in classroom as classwork and then homework from your activity book. Okay, the other one is the second chapter, or the second unit, unit 2, which is algebra. Okay, which is algebra. So under this we have seen algebraic expressions. Under these algebraic expressions we applied the 4 basic mathematical operations. These basic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. These are the 4 basic or fundamental operations. You can find these again from page 58 to 118 on your textbook. This is a bit the part that we have seen. It's a bit bulky, I know that, but read it from page 58 up to 118. From 58 up to 118, simply applying the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, the 4 fundamental or basic operations of mathematics under these algebraic expressions. Again, under this algebraic expression or related with algebra, we have seen factorizing algebraic expressions. You factorize the given algebraic expressions. Again, you can find this topic, the same textbook from page 58 to 118. The other part that we have seen is equations. Under these equations, we have seen equations with 1 variable, equations with 2 variables, and quadratic equations. Equation with 1 variable means in the equation we have given 1 variable, only 1 variable, x or y. Equations with 2 variables means equation, they are mostly we have seen 2 equations, because 2 variables we need to have 2 equations, at least 2 equations to find the values of those 2 variables. So these equations are termed as simultaneous equations, and we have seen different methods, around 4 methods to solve those simultaneous equations. The first method is elimination, the second substitution, third comparing the 2 equations, and finally we have seen solving simultaneous equations using the graph method. So we have seen these parts are included again in your final exam. And finally we have seen the quadratic equation under these algebraic expressions or under algebra. And again, for these quadratic equations, we have seen 3 different methods to solve quadratic equations. The first one is factorizing. As I said here, where we use factorization. So after factorizing, we solve that given quadratic equation. Then the second method is completing the square method. The third method is the formula. We call it the quadratic formula. So as I said, revise or read this part from page 58 up to 118 on your textbook, and then do examples plus exercises. We did classwork, homework under this unit. So revise all those classwork and then homework plus the given assignments from your activity book. Okay, let's go to the 3rd unit. Under this unit, the geometry part, we have seen angles, different angles. We classified angles based on their degree measures as acute, obtuse, right, straight, reflex, and then one complete turn or one complete revolution, which is 360 degrees. So based on the degree measure of the given angle, we classified or we name angles. So you can find these on your textbook from page 130 up to 142. So read and revise and do the questions which are given on your textbook. The second part that we have seen under this unit is triangles. Again, we classified triangles based on their side and based on the degree measure of the interior angles. Based on their side, we classified triangles as scalene triangle, isosceles triangle, equilateral triangle. Scalene triangle means all the 3 sides are different in length or side length, and isosceles, 2 of the 3 sides are equal in length, and equilateral means all the 3 sides are equal in length. So triangles are classified as a scalene, isosceles, and equilateral triangle based on the side length, and based on the degree measure of the interior angles. Triangles are classified as right angled triangle, obtuse angled triangle, acute angled triangle, and equilateral angular. So these are based on the degree measure of the interior angles of a given triangle. And again, you can find these on your textbook from page 143 up to 147. Short notes are given there, examples and questions. And we did some of the questions from these as classwork and then homework. So revise all those things from your activity book, or you can find those things on your activity book and then read and revise. The other part included in your final exam under this unit is angles in polygons. Angles in polygons, there are two types of angles: exterior angles and interior angles. So which angles are said to be exterior and which angles are said to be exterior angles? And if you have given interior angles, how can you find the exterior angles? If you have given the exterior angles, how can you calculate the interior angles of a given polygon? So you can find again this part on your textbook from page 150 to 157. So read this part, revise the examples, do the questions given as an exercise on your textbook. And again, we did some of the questions as classwork and homework from this part. So you can find those questions on your activity book. So read and revise, do practice the questions. The other part included on your final exam, that is the Pythagoras theorem. The Pythagoras theorem. This theorem, it states that actually it's related with right-angled triangle. It states the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides of that given right-angled triangle. So that, read it again, this part. You can find it from page 161 up to 165 on your textbook. We did a number of examples, especially related to this Pythagoras theorem. So revise those examples. And again, at the same time, do the questions. Again, revise the questions that you did as classwork and homework from your activity book. Okay, now let's proceed to the last part, which is Unit 4. Which is trigonometry. Again, we have seen this, and then this part is included in your final exam. The first one is the trigonometric ratios. How many trigonometric ratios we have seen? 3: sine, cosine, and tangent. So what relationship do we have between the three sides with a special name given in a right-angled triangle: opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse? So using these three sides and a given angle, because trigonometric ratio, it describes the relationship between two sides and a given angle in a right-angled triangle. So we have seen sine, cosine, and tangent. So you can find these on your textbook from page 237 to 242. Read the part. Again, revise the examples, do the questions. We did some of the questions as classwork and then homework from your activity book. Actually, this part is covered as a video lesson, but I gave you questions. As an assignment to do at home. So those questions, revise the questions, and then practice from your textbook by revising the topic, the notes, and again the examples then on your textbook from page 237 to 242. The other part is calculating the length of a side. If one side and an angle is given, so we can find the side length of the unknown side in a given right-angled triangle. Again, we apply the same trigonometric ratios, either sine, cosine, or tangent. You can find this part on your textbook from page 243 up to 246. The other part is calculating the size of an angle. If you have given two sides and an unknown angle, to find the degree measure of that angle, we apply the same one of the three trigonometric ratios. So you can find this part on your textbook from page 247 to 249. Read the notes and revise, do the examples plus the exercises given on your textbook. The other part is trigonometric ratios of 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees of angles. Then you can find this on your textbook from page 161 up to 165. So these are the parts included on your final exam. Wish you best result. Stay safe. Thank you.